Hi everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel, the custom saber review channel. We're gonna start a new series. It's called the 101 for Dummies lightsabers, or lightsabers for dummies I should say. And it's not really for dummies, but it's just for people that just starting off with a custom saber and they want to know more about it before they maybe go ahead and spend a lot of money on a purchase, and they just want to know what the terms mean and how does it relate to the performance or whatnot. So what I'm doing here, I've got some parts in front of me. We're gonna break it down in a very high level way of what a lightsaber is and how does it work. And today we're gonna start with the first part. What does the differences mean? So we have a lightsaber in front of me. This is a Vader's Vault Wrapped Havoc, and this particular type of hilt we call an in-hilt custom saber. The in-hilt custom saber actually means that the light source comes from within the hilt. So you have the hilt here, this metal piece. The light source comes from here and then flows or shoots out to the entire blade section. That means in hilt. We call this a custom saber because this is not an official licensed lightsaber from Disney. This is a custom saber. This is inspired by canon or non-canon stories. It's not of a real character out of the Star Wars universe. It comes from a fictional or just a inspiration from the crafter of this custom saber. It does not per se has a background in the Star Wars storyline, but to me and you, this is a lightsaber, and that is just the big difference. So we call them custom sabers as well because, as you might know, Disney might not like the fact that you use the word lightsaber if you make something and sell it to make a living out of it, and it's not officially Disney licensed. So you cannot use the word lightsaber. So we call them custom sabers, and this is one of those custom saber smiths making custom sabers, and this is the Vader's Vault Havoc. So if you want to know more about Vader's Vault, look them up on Google and you'll find their website, and then you can take a look at their lightsabers. And there are many more custom saber smiths out there, but today we're going to talk about the first part. We're going to talk about the differences of in-hilt custom sabers. So there's actually three categories, and the first one is called a empty. What is an empty? An empty is basically only the hilt, no blade, just this metal part, this alloy part, only this part, with no electronics inside, nothing, just totally empty. Those sabers are particular for people that want to do their electronics and they want to install it themselves in the hilt to either save some money or just simply because it's part of the hobby. Part of the hobby is to do yourself custom install the electronics. Now you can also buy a complete package, like for example this Vader's Vault. I did not install anything, so this is not considered an empty. This is considered a custom saber with light and sound. So this is a full package. You have light, you have sound, you have all kinds of options. You have flicker of the in-hilt light that flickers, or the in-hilt light that flickers when the impact is detected by the soundboard. It will detect a swing, or it will detect you hit something, and then the light will flicker. That's a full package, and that is basically a custom saber. And then there's another option. So we have the empty, just the empty blade, the empty hilt. Then we have a custom saber which has all the electronics inside, and then there's one more which is actually very popular within the custom lightsaber community, is the stunt saber. A stunt saber is basically a economic or stripped down version of the custom saber. So you have the same hilt, but instead of having the full package with a soundboard and all these fancy options, you only have the light source within the hilt. You have the button to ignite the light source and a battery. And sometimes those stunt boards may have a very small board inside the hilt. You can install that as a stunt board setup that does not has any sound. It does not have a speaker, it does not have any of that, but it will allow to control the light source to flicker, etc. So you can have it flickering. You can even have such board that does not support sound, but it allows you to change the color of the light source. And for that there's some things we need to consider, but that's called a stunt saber. A stunt saber is basically a cheaper version of, for example, this hilt. So you don't have the expensive soundboard, because a soundboard is expensive, and you don't have all the options, but maybe you don't need it. Maybe you just want to do dueling outside, you just want to fight with your friends, you have a nice light shining through the blade, and you don't really care too much that it flickers or not, or if it has sound or not. That's an economic option. It's also a practical option if you do a lot of spinning the lightsaber around, or dueling. You don't per se want to have a lot of stuff in the lightsaber, or you potentially don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Stunt sabers are ideal to start off with. So empty sabers is more for the people that actually want to solder all the electronics themselves inside the hilt. You can save some money with it, but it's also, there's a learning curve to it. It is easy to do the soldering, but to do the soldering good and do it that the joints are tight and the soldering done is perfectly fine and the wiring is done nicely, that is a challenge. That actually costs a lot of practice. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy to install electronics good, and that is something you need to be careful of, and that's why I'm telling you this. You can buy an empty saber and let somebody install the electronics for you for cheap, but make sure that person is reputable or know what he or she is doing, because although it's seemingly easy to use a soldering iron and solder some wires onto the different components, the outcome can vary and the durability can be tremendously different depending how that person or how skilled that person is in soldering up lightsabers. So you need to be careful of that. If you're going to invest money and you want to cut corners by going for an empty hilt and then have somebody install it for a few bucks, it might be not that durable. So you need to make sure it's a reputable person or somebody that you trust personally that will deliver some sort of quality. So that is the three different types of hilts that you can purchase. So you got the empty, you got the stunt setup, or you have the full custom saber setup with sound, etc. So that was my first video. I hope you liked it. Please click like and subscribe. In the next video we're gonna discuss the light source. See you, stay scummy.